Be mindful once again that we're in a country where we can gather in freedom and safety, and thank the good Lord for that. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Father, we ask for your blessing today. We thank you that we can, like Dennis said, we thank you that we can be in a country like this where we can discuss, debate, have civil discourse without rockets and mortars and gunfire. And we just ask, Lord, that you continue to bless this country so that we can continue to resolve things in that way. And we ask for your safety and your protection for all the people in the world who are in those type of areas that need protection right now. I ask these things in your name. Amen.
Got to do this great thing. You are the only one that will have to sign this when it's done.
Okay.
And we're going to do minutes if you want to.
Yeah, let's do that first. Yeah.
Before we do.
We have a interesting agenda this morning. We'll approve the minutes from the
Motion to approve.
September meeting. All those in favor?
Wait, we got Fred made the motion. Who had the second?
I'll second.
Fred and Bob? Okay. Got it. Now they can vote.
All those in favor? Now we're going to ask for a motion to adjourn this meeting to go into the,
Exit and enter
Make a motion to exit the regular council meeting and enter the
solid waste.
Solid
budget.
solid waste budget hearing.
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Then solid waste will come up, and
Okay.
if there are no questions, we can just pass it around and sign it.
Solid waste representative? No comment?
All they really need to do is approve it as it was presented last month. Need a motion, second to do that, and then we pass that around for people to sign.
Second. Kathy.
Nothing.
Rex.
All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, yeah, if you want to sign that first, I'll pass it around. And then now we will need a motion to exit the solid waste budget and enter
Motion to exit the solid
the
waste.
county budget.
And enter the county budget.
Second.
Okay. Got Fred and Rex. We just need we got first and second on exiting solid waste, entering the county budget. We need a vote on it. Need a vote on, we got a motion and a second. We need a vote.
All those are in favor of reconvening?
Aye.
Opposed?
I've always thought that was just so weird, but that's what you gotta do. Okay, so we are now in the county budget period. This is the solid waste budget. Julie Marie, did you want to explain what they need to do, or?
Just ratify the budget.
Well, we've got,
I think you'd be better at explaining.
now Julie Marie and Bree and myself, we've been assessing all this stuff since last month, I think. Health insurance right now is at 2 million. There had been, I think the last thing that we had said, they were going to do it at 1.5 million. And then we determined that that's actually more than the 500,000 because if we do less, then solid waste, highway, and sewer district will also do less. So it ends up being, around 700,000, something like that. So there had been some talk outside of this body of making it maybe 300,000 so that it's closer to the actual 500,000 that you wanted out. But that we could not make that determination based on one or two people saying it. You guys as a body have to discuss and tell us what number you want. Like I said, it's at 2 million now. You can lower it, you can leave it the same, it's whatever you guys decide to do. That's one of the things that we need to accomplish before we can submit the budget into Gateway, which our DLGF rep has emailed us 3 different times now on that. And we told him we would have that today. So anyway, first item is the health insurance. Rex?
Well, based on the discussion, I've been reading the emails going back and forth. I think we ought to keep it at the 2 million.
And I know, Bree, I really appreciate you spent a lot of time with me on this, trying to figure out exactly what's going on. So just to recite what I think the situation is, that we have about 4.7 million that balance today, but at the end of the year, it should be about 3.8. Each year we spend somewhere in the 2 million-ish range for it. So if we take it from 2 million that we put more into it and we only do 1.5, then all in all, that with the other entities, instead of 500,000 out, you'd be about
Later.
600,000 or so that ends up not going in. If you assume a 20% increase in expenses, then that would leave you a January 2025 balance of 2.5 million, which is about an entire year of expenses. So I don't know how we would think that we would literally double your expenses in a year. I think that's a little bit over. I mean, that's a lot. So I don't know. I guess what's the concern, I guess? Do you think that we're going to double expenses? That's my thought. I think we did this a couple of years ago. Was it 3 years ago, 4 years
It
ago?
was, we dropped at 500,000. Doug was still a commissioner that year. That might have been, what was your first year on? 18? Or,
Yeah, 5
I
years
think it was
ago.
your first year, so it would have been 5 years ago.
For this exact reason, because I think that balance had like a 600,000 balance in 2017, but I mean, it's up to 3.8 this year. So to keep dumping 2 million in seems like a lot.
I'd be willing to split it to go 1.7. I know that's not right where you want to be or you want to be, but I think each side of it is, we have a new insurance, and so there's some questions about that. So our balance in there it's getting up there, and I don't think decreasing it a little bit would hurt it. And if it does, then, honestly, we do have the resources to come back and make it up, but by cutting it a little bit, that does leave a little bit more money in the general fund, and that money has a lot more versatility in the general fund than it does. Once it goes into the health insurance, it's in there.
And if that's what it takes, I'm okay with that too. I mean, if that would get us to a consensus, I'm not like married to it. I just don't want to keep dumping 500,000 in, 2 million in every year when I don't think we need that much.
It seems flush with cash. I'm not sure. Bree, I know you don't go, but you usually have some impactful information on how it spits out. Any concern with dropping it?
Insurance is gonna cost.
That's it? Just no?
I mean,
Usually a lot longer answers.
the only real concern would be if you were to get a tremendous number of claims that we are not aware of now that are really high,
Like Corey said, it double our expenses.
and you can't predict that, you never know. But an answer in what I think these guys are saying, even if you go a little less, maybe not the 500, but you go some amount less, the general fund would probably be able to handle that, but you'd have to revisit it next year and see where you're at with claims. And I'm not recommending that. I'm just saying, just throwing it out there that it's kind of in your guys' ballpark that if you do drop it, realize that if we have more claims than normal, we might have to take it from somewhere else. And that's the only caveat that our office wants to throw out there, is that we're telling you it's possible. Don't know that it's probable, but it is possible.
I think my biggest thing is that solid waste and sewer district and highway will all also get the discount too. But they're not, so say we are running low, they're not gonna pay in. They're not gonna pay in an extra. County General will eat the rest. That makes sense?
So as long as you know those risks, and, it's up to you guys what to do.
Don't we have a stop loss gap insurance in there too?
We have stop loss.
So if you had a monstrous, problem, they would step in.
Is it only is it per person per claim? Yeah, it's a $55,000 stop loss deductible per claim.
Yeah, so I mean, you'd have to have multiple people, I guess. I mean, stars would really have to align, I guess, is what I'm saying.
One thing about reevaluating it next year, we should do that every year.
Mhm.
With-
Yeah.
with-
I'm not saying not to reevaluate, I'm
with
just saying we
everything.
definitely would have to.
Hey,
yeah, we
Bree,
do
I
it
got
every
a
year.
question on, that email that you sent out. Said the entire budget was only up 0.49. Now, did that include the 2 million or did it include 1.5 million in health insurance?
That is the 1.5 is in there right now. So it's the 1.5.
And if I'm reading, which I think I am, because I know we talked about it for a long time, Bree, but the cash balances, just going back in time, in 2017, this fund had 635,000. 2018, it was 1.0. 2019 was 1.9. 2020 was 2.2. 21 is 2.7. 2022 is 3.3. I mean, you're picking up $500,000 a year. And then 2023 is 3.7 at the end of the year, we're thinking. So, I mean, to me, this fund has gone up from 600 to 3.8. We're putting too much in there.
I think we have to be mindful too of COVID back again. And then if we had a dozen, 20 cases of hospitalization, there goes the budget.
Right, but when you're only spending 2.7 million, you've got a $3.7 million balance right now. I mean, and you put in another 2,
Well,
that means you have to spend your entire 2 plus another 3.7.
your point's well taken.
Corey, did you have a recommendation then?
I would just say that we stick with what we have in the budget right now, which is at the 1.5. So I guess, do we need a motion on that, or do you just?
Well, Rex has
It's already in
motion.
If it's already one at the 1.5, if you want 2, if you want.
Okay, well, I guess I'll motion to stick with the 1.5 then.
And Fred had a recommendation to split it, but I guess we gotta act on,
Well, I didn't
Rex
really
is-
make a motion. I said
The only motion on the table right now is Corey.
2 million.
uh,
We can handle the
Is
2
that a
million.
motion, Corey?
The thing of it is, if we miscalculate, who's gonna go back and say, hey, we gotta jump this thing up a lot more than what we planned on?
I guess not, I wouldn't call it miscalculate, we're just going on past performance.
But I think we can handle the 2 million. That's a safe, we did
Yeah.
it before. We're changing companies. We don't know for sure how that's gonna really fall out.
Mhm. Yeah,
I mean, I guess my thought is you're basically somewhere in the 300 to 500,000 every year has been building in that fund. They've got an opinion too. Yeah, I mean, your 300 to 500,000 per year has been building in that fund, so you're just kind of getting rid of that. But you've had how many years of that building? So you would have to undo all of those years, is what I'm saying, like before you actually have a problem.
Time comes somewhere in the middle.
As I sit here and go through the discussion, I was coming in, I was thinking staying with the 2 million, but as we've had the discussion, I guess I'm more in line with Fred, split in the middle somewhere. Take a little bit, but still give ourselves a little protection, because yeah, with the new insurance company, you're not quite sure how that's all gonna pan out, what all's gonna happen. I would be okay with splitting it in the middle.
You have to state an amount, not split it.
Right.
Right now, we just have a motion from Corey. I don't think we have a second yet, so that's where we're at momentarily.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
I'll make a motion for 1.7.
And I'll second that. That's fine. I'll withdraw mine. It's not that big a deal.
Well, Corey should have withdrawn his motion before we had another one, but anyway, we're at 175,000.
170.
1.75 million, I'm sorry.
So what? So
Everybody understand that?
250 is a one.
So it would be 1.7 million in that budget line. item.
300. You're dropping at 300,000 from
Yeah.
2 million?
Yeah.
And that was who again?
Fred, and then I seconded it.
Okay.
All those in favor of the revised figure? Opposed?
Looks like all the ayes there. Okay. So we got the health insurance out of the way. The next thing. Bree, I'm looking at ordinance number up here. So give
I
me a
just
second.
want to make sure you got it. Whenever they approve solid waste, do they approve the ordinance?
If they didn't say it, we can have them give that number now.
It should be ordinance 2023-19 for solid waste.
Let's see. Yeah, 2023-19.
Where'd
Who
you get
did that?
26?
Kathy and Rex, can you amend your motion for the solid waste budget to say ordinance 2023-19, the solid waste budget? And then if you can amend that and just have a revote, then it'll be good. You good with that?
Yes.
Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now we're good. Now we got it, Bree. And then, okay, got it.
I think the only thing we have left on the
Check on the order.
budget before I can actually get the ordinance ready for them to sign is,
Salary ordinance, right?
Oh, sorry.
Or,
I need the Golden Meadows.
oh,
And then I can work on the
well,
ordinance for that. The salary ordinance is right here. Which one do you want first? Let's finish budget first.
finish the budget first, or I thought you needed the other to finish the budget.
You finish the budget, they gotta tell me what they want for Golden Meadows. And we can finish the budget.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So are we doing Golden Meadows first?
Yep.
Okay. That's one of the things Julie Marie and I have been communicating about, because they're technically, there's no county policy on that. I reached out to other counties and none of them have a county policy on it. It's just rare that a department would like close and you have this happen. But SBOA responded and said this would fit under the statute for severance pay. This counts with, and I forget what all was on there, but the employees are all fine. There's two exceptions that can't be paid out of the Golden Meadows line. Well, the administrator can, but there has to be a contract modification, which commissioners can do very easily. I think Mark's aware of it and plans to bring that up. That'll be an easy thing to include that as part of the administrator's pay. It'd be a modification of that contract, very simple. Since HR does not work at Golden Meadows, the money can't come from that line. So that one would be paid out of the commissioner's budget. So like between Julie Marie and I, we pretty much have everything okay to go with resolutions. And then the commissioners, here in the near future, if not today, in the near future, would have to approve the
policy modification,
policy modification as well as
the contract.
the severance pay statute that is simply a policy addendum. So Steve, the thing that we were discussing, Steve, at that last meeting with all the bonuses, that doesn't even, we can just throw that out. Because we figured out how that has to be, and it's going to be a statute with severance pay. That includes everybody but HR because she's not being severed. I mean, it can be done, but you have to take it out of your own budget to facilitate that, because that's where she's paid from. Did I say that right, Brent? Said it right.
It would come out of the overtime.
Yeah. So it's all there. We just need a resolution. That I think Julie Marie, did you all get that? What Julie Marie sent you on the resolution?
So I've been thinking a lot about this, and I honestly, I don't agree with it. The employees out of Gold Meadows absolutely should get the severance. But sorry, Shannon, I don't think it's appropriate. That sets a very dangerous precedence, I think. We all, I think probably every one of us which I think that includes all of us, do work outside of our normal scope of work. And I don't think there should be a $5,000 bonus there. And even with the other one, I apologize, I don't remember the administrator's name, but she signed a contract knowing Golden Meadows was going to be closed down. So, I mean, I have a problem with that one too. I just don't think either one of those should be included in this. And, I don't know, I guess that's where, I think we should definitely give the Golden Meadows employees a retention bonus, but the Shannon and the administrator, I disagree with.
Is what Shannon is getting, is it the same as the extra pay? And just explain to me, we don't have a county engineer, so we know that Brad gets more, Paul gets more. The surveyor now is getting more for the plat book. He took over as director for a short time. She's no longer doing that, are you?
Well, that would be less wages than I think the director out there made less, didn't they?
It's what the commissioners
Should.
figured out. So I don't know if you think it would be less, but I just don't think you can give, you know what I'm saying?
Well, you're setting a precedent, it's already
Yes,
set.
yes, it's the principle of the whole thing. We've already given, and I'm not against it, I'm just saying, when we didn't hire an engineer, then Brad got more money to take over that, Paul got more money to take over his. I'm not saying take that away. The surveyor now is going to be taking care of the plat books because, and we're not going to hire anybody to do that. She took over for a short time, the director, till we got through this, so I don't see the problem of giving her.
Well, I look at it as the highway department, we restructure their entire organization for a full-time position. And it's being maintained that way. And the surveyor is also assuming another full-time role. You know, it's filling a gap, not above anything.
But like they will lose they'll lose that money if if the commissioners decide to hire another engineer.
Yeah, that was completely
Yes.
understood at the beginning.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah, that was a restructuring in my mind.
Anybody else have any opinions?
On the second one, the administrator, I don't know, a bit more question for the commissioners, I guess. How, I'm not gonna say what promises did you make, but I mean, how did that go in the interview discussions? You know, because I think that matters, you know, were they told that we're likely to do this, or what, was that left?
I think for, to, Steve, you can correct me on this, but to get her to be more interested, knowing that this was just going to be 10 months, 12 months, and a little bit of a bonus at the end, we got her for that. I don't think we could have received anyone if we did something like that. And to go back with to the Shannon regards, I think if, I'm really careful how I say this, we've set a precedent that when we give Brad extra duties, he still received the paycheck as the county, but then he got extra duties, so he got more. Paul still got his paycheck for the same duties he did, but we give him more because he was putting on extra duties. Mike still receives his paycheck as a surveyor, but now he's getting more because of his extra duties. And that's Phil Shannon for 4 months did extra duties. And if we decline to pay her for the extra duties, I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to go any farther. Just get you guys to.
Well, this would be precedent setting, so I appreciate your comments from anybody.
It's right here on the.
I know it is.
Bob?
It's on the tip of Steve's too.
I mean, I'll be honest, I'm torn, because when, you know, I have employees and they pick up extra duties, they don't get extra pay for them. It's just part of their job description is any duties here and after assigned. But we don't offer them or don't pay them extra. It's just these things need done and you're assigning them to you and you gotta pick them up and do them. So I'm torn. I mean, and I understand what you have to say, Steve. I fully understand that.
But I feel like government's a different animal.
It is. It is.
I mean, if you're if you are an office head and you tell one of your employees that you want them to work the counter while you go to do something, if it's not in their job description, they can tell you no.
Agree with that? What do you mean they can tell you no if it's not in their job description? If they're an at-will employee,
Yeah.
it's a condition of staying in employment. I don't agree with that. I'm not saying I disagree with the rest of what you're saying, but that I don't agree with.
Didn't we approve this?
Was all this promised before it was?
I thought we did it last meeting. Didn't we say,
Yes.
have a consensus?
So we did, but we were not, our office was never contacted before this got to
We were
us.
ambushed with this.
We then contacted State Board because there is rules and stuff that we have to follow.
Right.
State Board said it can be done, but you have to have a policy, so you're going to put a bonus policy because that would be a bonus. We did not have to put a bonus policy in for highway or surveyor, for anybody else. No county employees ever received a bonus. That is part of their pay. It is on the salary ordinance, so it's a totally different situation. State Board said you had to do, the bonus policy had to be passed by both boards, and the contract for the new administrator, that has to be amended. And all of this bonus pay, the bonus pay and the retention pay has to be on the salary ordinance. So it's different situations, but that was why it's getting brought up, is we weren't contacted State Board. None of the rules, nobody contacted State Board to see if we were doing what we should be doing. And so we did afterwards, and that's when they told us the 3 things that had to be done in order for it.
So the reason why the prior vote and the prior approval of it was just a consensus is because it's included in the budget and salary ordinance. So you have this opportunity today to either ratify, modify, or reject it. That's why it was non-binding before.
Somebody remind me, what was the amount for the administrator versus HR?
10 and 5.
10,000 for the director of Golden Meadows and $5,000 for interim director.
Well, I don't know, knock some issues off. I mean, I don't think there's any disagreement on the employees, right? We're all on good. Does anyone have an issue with that one? Okay. So then, do you just want to do them one at a time, or?
Yes. Yes.
Well, I guess my question was, were these, all of these people that were discussing, the HR director, the administrators, was it all promised to them before it was on our table? It wasn't discussed with anybody?
I'm okay with the director one, personally. I think the director one, I know that's a conversation that I know I at least had with some of you commissioners beforehand, was this might be something we need to do to get him here. And I thought that made a lot of sense because you're signing him up for a 1-year job. So I'm okay with that one. That one makes sense to me.
Speaking to the director, I guess one of the things that's in my head is we really need her to stay around until the end. I think in that case, it is truly a retention consideration. If she gets another offer to go somewhere else next week, next month, 3 months from now, our momentum toward closure will hit a real bump in the road. And I think if we have something hanging out there that says if you are still employed when we finally close, you get this bonus, I feel there's value in that. It was not discussed with her at the time of her hiring or prior to, at some point, I think this might have been made known to her, and I might have misspoke, John. You asked if any of this was made known before it came to you guys. I think it probably was, because it's not made known prior to either hiring Brenda or prior to Shannon accepting and executing the role that she did. This all kind of took place after all of that had transpired.
You want to clarify that?
So I don't think any of their work was in contemplation of getting these bonuses. That's what I'm trying to say.
But
And I was asking that
actually, Steve, I think
what-
in the contract, it does specifically indicate that that was the purpose of her having been hired. And it does actually contemplate the possibility of a bonus on top of it.
Okay.
Yes, there is that clause.
But I don't think there's an amount in the contract, is there?
There's not.
There's not. It simply says at the discretion of the fiscal body, there can be an additional bonus. So it was contemplated but not guaranteed.
So is anyone opposed to that one then? The administrator or director, whatever they are?
I would say, acting in hindsight, this should have all been on all of our parts, looked
I
at
think we
closer.
agree with that. And I've heard Stan say that the mistake that we made is moving forward with some of this.
It should have been,
It should have come to you guys first. I agree with that.
no, I'm not saying it should have come to us. I think as a group, the two groups should have come to some sort of plan moving forward, not in hindsight retroactively trying to pay some and not others, or all or none.
What are you thinking on the director?
I guess I could go along with that, even though I don't like it, just because it was set up ahead of time. I mean, that's what the contract says, but I realize it's hard to pull that string back now.
Yeah. All right, well, just to keep things moving, I'll make a motion for the regular, just to confirm, I guess, the regular employees and the director, administrator, whatever that position title is.
So that's fine.
You're including Shannon?
No, we'll deal with that in a minute. I don't even know what I'm gonna do on that yet.
So you guys are fine what I changed, so the budget right now, the Golden Meadows overtime is at 68, and that's the retention bonuses for just the employees. And then the extra like 15,000 for any overtime pay. And then if you're gonna give Brenda the 10,000, her contractual services line item is at 69,600. And that's for $58 per hour for 120 hours per month for 10 months. Plus that. No, I would need to add 10,000. So if you're saying yes to the 10, then I can add that in, or if you want to leave it at 69.6 and
Well, I was just trying to keep it easy and just say, let's just decide on the first two and then we can separately decide on the Shannon one, just to keep it simpler. Cause I don't hear a lot of disagreement on the other two. So I'll make that motion, I guess.
And explicitly, what is it?
So there's three groups, right? You've got Shannon, the director, and then the employees.
Keep it to the HR director.
I'm getting my titles all screwed up now. So I'm saying the employees and the Golden Meadows director.
Yeah.
I'm
contract.
saying yes to those two.
Currently in the budget, are you voting to maintain the current budget as it pertains to the bonuses for the Golden Meadows employees and the Golden Meadows director?
And then after that, we can talk about Shannon, because I don't think we're disagreeing on these ones too much.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the bonus structure for the employees and director. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Everybody say yes.
Yes.
Bree, what is that amount? What amount did they just approve so I can put it in the minutes?
So the overtime line item will stay at the 68,000. And that's the retention bonuses plus an extra 15,375 for any overtime. And then the contractual services in Golden Meadows went up to 79,600.
Okay. Got it.
Okay, and moving forward, we have to refer to I think we have to refer to this as the HR director position, not the person. So anytime we're speaking, we're not talking about Shannon, we're talking about the position.
And so the 10,000 for the director right now will not go on the salary ordinance. All of the retention bonuses for the employees will go on the salary ordinance when you guys approve this in a little bit. But the 10,000 will not go on because she's not an employee. The commissioners will have to amend her contract in order for her to get that. Okay?
Yes,
Yeah.
Mark and I are working on that contract.
I think I'm processing out loud, which might be a dangerous thing, but I'm thinking if this was my business and it was my money, I probably would give the position a little bit of a bonus because it was my money. And I would want to personally and I just would feel like I would want to do that. Now, if I was managing somebody else's business, I think I would struggle a little bit, which gets me into this realm because I feel like that's where we're at. We're managing somebody else's money right now. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. I don't know if that helps anybody.
Good point.
I don't know whether you guys want to hear from me or not.
We do.
But
I do.
I will tell you that when I first heard, I had the same reaction that you did. I thought, we're going to pay her, we're going to pay her some overtime. But I also felt, from my time sitting on council, had commissioners come to me and said, hey, here's our plan. We don't have an administrator, we don't have an office manager, a business manager, we don't have a nurse manager. We need somebody to own Golden Meadows for a short period of time here. We think Shannon can do this. We're going to ask for some additional money to pay her a stipend or whatever you call it, to take on this role that is totally not affiliated with her HR role. She's gonna have to learn some new skills. She's gonna have to figure out, she's gonna be managing people, which she doesn't in her role. Quite a bit of change between an administrator of a county home and an HR director. Those two things are not the same, not even, I don't think you can think of it as additional duties. Those are two different job descriptions, both carrying different places on our salary. So again, had commissioners come to me in advance and said, here's what we'd like to do, here's our plan. We'd like to pay Shannon a stipend for to do this, like we do Brad, like we do Mike for the additional jobs that they've picked up. I probably would have seen that way. But like I said, when I first heard it, I had the same reaction that y'all did. It's like, oh, she's getting paid by the hour to do whatever we tell her to do. So I kind of get both of the perspectives. But I think it's only fair when we asked her to take on, and I know I heard Stan say this, and I will tell you this as commissioner, we should have come to you and said, here's what we're thinking. We have this emergency need for some supervision at Golden Meadows. We don't have anybody to throw in there. I actually went out there and tried to do a little bit of the business manager role. It was just a situation that was uncomfortable for everybody because there was no leadership out there. So I think when we asked Shannon to step into that role, was it fair to her to ask her to do that? No. Did she take that responsibility on willingly? Yes. And did she take it at that time not knowing that there would be any compensation whatsoever? Yes. And so I think kind of in hindsight, the commissioners looked at that and said, we owe her some additional compensation for doing that. And there came the $5,000. So again, I would just ask you to think about it maybe from that perspective versus the hourly. We pay her by the hour. We paid her overtime. And it was two totally different job descriptions, both of them on our salary ordinance. She stepped into the shoes of both of them and filled both of them admirably, I might say, for that short period of time, really bailed us out. I mean, we as commissioners own management of that Golden Meadows. We were in a world of hurt. I can see why Stan kind of just as a knee-jerk reaction said, we got to find somebody now. Shannon, can you do this? And she said yes, and it really worked out well for us. And so that's maybe my plea, a little bit of forgiveness for us not coming to the council to kind of lay this whole plan out to you and ask you to buy into it. A little bit of understanding that we felt really under the gun to do something quickly. And again, my understanding that I get your response as well.
I'll make a motion to go ahead and honor what we voted on last month. Shannon?
I'll second.
Say that again, Kathy.
I'll make a motion to go ahead with what we voted on last month, giving her the 5,000 for directorship.
To approve the bonus for the interim
Yeah.
Golden Meadows director.
So Kathy and,
Wicks.
okay.
You got that?
Yeah, like Bree said, the only reason that we had to revisit this was because there was nothing out there. And I remember Steve Bailey saying, this needs done, we just need to do it right. Because the last audit that we had, that exit conference, you guys were there and heard, everything was great. So we want to maintain that. And Julie, Mark, myself, State Board of Accounts, Bree, all of us have been working on how this needs to look. The commissioners will be approving this severance pay statute ordinance to add as a policy addendum. And we have a letter from the attorney's office that goes with that, which is what state code, what SBOA and state code says we have to have. So I think we're I think we're good. We made it so that whatever you guys decided today,
We can effectuate.
we can make it happen.
Right.
Any analysis on where the 5,000 came from? Like, how did we get to 5,000?
I don't think there was any real analysis to it.
Get it from the land sales.
I mean, even if I could get myself to go along with it, 5,000 seems,
How much overtime was involved in that? Was it 4 months?
I don't have, I don't have. I didn't know there's been overtime paid out.
John, I know there was some overtime. I don't think it was excessive, but there was some overtime. We do look at this.
I mean, we've had, so right now it's in our budget, and in our overtime line item, we have spent out almost $3,659 in overtime. And really, that, nobody else in our office really gets it. That was in April, right?
Yes, it is.
There's approximately $3,500 in overtime paid out during that time for that.
That's what's been spent out of our budget this year.
What was it?
That would include anybody in our office.
Shannon, we're trying to work through this. So
I mean-
we're doing our best.
I guess I'm not saying I'm a no, which if everybody else has already decided and my vote doesn't tip it, we can move on. But for me, distinguish this from someone in an office goes on maternity leave and the other person has to cover for them during that time. How's that different? Now, I understand like with some of the other ones like Brad and all that, we completely and permanently restructured what's going on here, which I think is different. So this is a temporary situation. How's it different than a situation like that?
So we had Aaron Hackman leave and the deputy auditor picked up her operations for 6 months.
And did she get a bonus during that time? And that question's going to come up.
Yeah, that's where I'm having difficulty.
Say that again, John.
Never been bonuses.
I didn't hear everything.
When Aaron Hackman left the auditor's office, the deputy auditor covered all of her, 100% of her duties
I just didn't hear what you
in
were saying.
her own for
I think
6
some of those are
months.
supposed to be temporary. And they're still there.
And I'm sure there's other instances in different departments throughout the county that I'm not aware of. But I know there are a few that I do know.
And I know we're talking about me here, but there was a job structure change in the auditor's office when Aaron left. And there was a pay increase for those additional duties. And that wasn't 6 months, it was like 2 months. And a lot of those duties were shifted into my office. And I know that there's long been discrepancy about what duties belong in my office versus the auditor's office, but there was a structure change. There was a job description change and there was pay awarded for those additional duties. It's not like they went unpaid for 6 months. So that was my first wage review that I did with you guys in July after I started that year. That was the first one that we worked on together on. So I just want clarification on that.
It's good,
That's all I'm
thank you.
gonna
I was getting around.
That would have been a permanent change though, right?
Right, it wasn't, that's what I'm clarifying, is that it was a permanent change. So I don't want there to be any confusion that it wasn't a permanent change and that there wasn't pay awarded, because there wasn't. It's not like those duties went and they were done for 6 months.
Yeah, they restructured everything.
Correct.
Yep.
Pay was awarded for that, is my point.
Mhm.
Whether that helps the case of what we're talking about or not, I don't know and I don't care, but I just want clarification on that aspect.
Need a call for the question?
Where are we at right now? There's a motion.
Motion to second both.
Kathy and Rex approved to keep it.
Add the 5,000 though, right?
Well, I'd still like to know roughly how much overtime was paid for that.
This is where we need the advice of the HR.
I don't know how quickly we can get that.
That's where we get the advice of the HR.
Yes.
Shannon, do you have any idea?
If I had to give you a stab in the dark, I'd say probably $1,500 over the course of those 4 months. I mean, I can remember one pay period specifically where I had like 7.5 hours, 8 hours, and I think that was the most I ever had for one pay period, which is 2 weeks. So, I mean, but there was overtime in the beginning of the year, and there's been overtime since then related to my normal job. So everything that I've made in 2024 was not just because of that. I'd say maybe 1,500, 1,800.
I guess I'm asking because that also, applies to what she's, or that position has done and has been compensated for a temporary relief, I would suppose.
Well, we have a motion and a second for the approval of the bonus for Shannon. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Was that 3 and 3?
I didn't hear what Bob said.
Raise your hands for. How many for?
Who voted aye?
Those
Just-
two were aye.
Voted aye.
Who voted nay? Okay.
I wish there was more time for discussion. I wouldn't.
I think we need to do something. Don't get me wrong, we need to do something. I don't think 5,000 is good.
We need to figure out what we're gonna do.
But I think we need to do something.
Resolution for the without.
So that would be,
This is without, this is just.
What about taking 5,000, reducing it by 1,500, and if that was coming up to 35?
we have that resolution.
Okay.
I'll say that number was.
Well, that's why, I don't know why it was rushed. I thought we were in the middle of a discussion.
Pursuant to the new policy that we're going to have to follow to effectuate this, then with having approved the bonuses for the Golden Meadows employees and not having approved the bonus for the interim Golden Meadow director, I have proposed resolution 26, which would approve those bonuses specifically just for those employees.
That's everything that you said.
So is is that all the questions on the budget then?
I believe that's
And
it.
I don't know
All
why.
right, do you have a final number?
Got pushed.
I mean, it's gonna take, I gotta upload all of it to David.
We can go back to it if there's something else I want to do first.
Yeah,
It was a resolution 26.
I think we just want a final budget number. Then you submit it. Then we can get the rates and everything after you submit it. Then they can make a final vote on that ordinance for the budget.
You can do the salary ordinance that's ready to go.
26.
26. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. It doesn't come back.
Yeah, we'll just finish that one.
Can we go back to the HR director again? I thought we were still in discussions and then it got pushed to vote.
It did get pushed to a vote, and it was 4 no and 2 yes.
Oh, no, for the interim director or the Golden Meadows director?
The HR director.
HR director, okay. Yeah,
Do what? Interim, oh yeah, interim HR director.
okay.
Right.
Yeah, you just declined that. Are you changing your mind or?
No, I'm not changing my mind on the 5,000. But then what Steve was, I mean, I was still, I guess pondering what Steve Bailey said. Yeah, do I think $5,000 is appropriate? No. And that position was compensated already with overtime, but it was, as Steve said, a very specific request. And there had to have some unique talents involved in training and education and experience, whatnot to do that. So I didn't think $5,000 was fitting, but maybe doing an additional 1,500, she had 1,500 in overtime roughly. And maybe for a little stipend, match that.
And that's at council's pleasure. I mean, you guys discuss and
Yeah, I'm
do
discussing.
whatever you want and make whatever motion you want, and it can be modified to a different amount, or you can leave it, it's up to you guys. Until we submit that budget into Gateway, that's why we didn't submit it, because we knew there'd be changes, so we just need to know it, how you want to.
That won't actually affect next year's budget, because would that be an additional appropriation for this year,
No,
Okay.
that's
No,
next
it's
year.
like-
for hers?
Yes.
They can't get it until it closes.
Yeah,
Oh, I
it's
see.
in the budget for next year.
I mean, it's only a little bit, but.
You also have travel expense that would enter into this. I don't know how many times you went out there, Shannon.
Well, that's all encompassing.
I submit mileage claims to go out there, but not for the rest of my travel, so that's on me.
It's like, oh.
Yes, I agree with John. I mean, I think there needs to be something. I don't think 5,000 was the answer, but I think there had to be some, I think there needs to be something. I agree with John, if we can work out a number. I know John threw it out 1,500. Myself, I was thinking somewhere in that $2,000 range. So for what that's worth, I mean, if we can work out to a number, I'm fine and great with that.
Email to.
Well, you want to go with 2,000?
Is that a motion, Bob?
I'll make a motion if you're not. Want me to make it?
I'll make it.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll make a motion that number should be $2,000.
Second.
I'm sorry, what figure?
2,000.
2,000.
Bob and who? Rex?
Are we changing what we just?
Yes. They rejected 5,000.
I don't think-
Now,
Well,
what?
rejected 5,000, they're saying 2,000.
We are
Yeah,
changing, we
we
just
you
did.
changed it. I just changed it. You said no to the 5, so now you're saying yes, you're gonna do it, but 2.
Two.
And you don't, and it doesn't happen until it closes. So you're still doing the bonus pay. So you have to add the bonus pay into the policy, and we're gonna do it on the 2,000 on the salary ordinance.
Yes, I
Okay.
think that's what they just did. Did everybody,
That's the motion.
did that have a vote yet?
No,
Okay.
so we need a vote.
Bob made the motion, Rex made the second.
Have a motion and a
2,000.
second to approve $2,000 bonus for Shannon. All those in favor?
It doesn't make her,
Aye.
Are you guys voting or not?
because now you're just picking a number.
I think over that, because
They're still discussing.
At $7.81 an hour.
The code for a vote.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which is vote.
we're discussing.
One little thing here.
Okay.
But I figured it would be like $1,980 something.
Only in America.
What she got at the time. And so she, I know she's been out of that. I just, in my point of view, that's, they don't, she's asked, she said, that's where she said, Mark has to appreciate it.
We're voting on the motion.
So,
Or where?
yeah, so that's why I said 2,000. Yeah, to her Robert's rules, so. I'm a yes.
Yes.
I'm an I,
You're an aye?
you're an I, you say?
So I got
That's aye.
Kathy, Rex, Bob, John. Any other yeses? Fred, Corey? No? Okay. 2,000.
Motion passes for $2,000.
No. No. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay. And then if you wanted to email it to me too, I can print it up there. It's the same as Bree can. That's if you have somebody bring it down or come get it. That will still be resolution 26. She's just going to have to amend it. We'll have to print it upstairs and then bring it down for you guys to sign. And then, Bree, once you get that final budget number, shout that out so these guys can,
You want just the button?
just the actual, yeah.
2,214,645.
In
I'm
those
working on
cents.
it, but it's minimal for us.
Okay, so
14,000.
32,214.
645.
So,
32,
got it.
14,645.
I will happily make a motion that we approve this final budget. I know it has to go into a whole nother vote, but it has, the official one, but I will make a motion that for all of these things that we approve this budget. This is a 1% increase over last year's budget, which is an incredible, everybody in here deserves a round of applause. I don't know. Everybody did a really great job on this. And I want to stress that. I've said this last couple of meetings, but a year ago was 2 years ago was a completely different place than we are in today. There are still things I want to work on. I don't love the property tax rate, but we'll get there. But this year, we went from a 14% budget increase last year to a 1% this year. We worked hard. Everybody here worked hard. The income tax was lowered this year, starting in January. I mean, we've done good things. So I know there's been disagreements in the past, so I think it's important to pause when we do something good to highlight that and say, this is a lot of work. I mean, hours and hours and I don't know, tons of hours. But I just want to mention that I think, although I can't say this for sure, that we are probably, of all the municipal entities in the county, I think we're the only one to be this low of an increase. I mean, 1% in a year where inflation was about 4% means that it's a decrease. We are spending less than last year. So I think that it deserves some kudos, and I want to thank everybody for all the time and effort that everybody put into it.
So where did
So
you get
there's
a
a motion
second
now.
on the,
I'll second.
and that's on just the budget number, the
Actually had a motion.
13,214,645?
Yep, there's a motion in there. Sorry, I just.
Do the ordinance number, Tony. Are they approving the budget?
No, they're just approving that overall number. Once once you submit that and we get the tax rates and all that stuff, that'll be the,
You gotta approve the ordinance, what I'm working on.
what number is the ordinance?
20,
That.
2024 budget for the county will be 2023-20.
2023. So,
And then they need to adopt ordinance for salaries 2023-21.
okay, hold on. Ordinance.
And Fred seconded that.
So. Salary order. Okay, so we got that one out of the way. Now, we need a vote on ordinance 2023-20. Thank you, sir. Which is the, well, the salary ordinance would be separate from that, but the budget ordinance is 2023-20, and that's what, when that gets submitted and we have a signature form like you had for solid waste, it'll look like that, and you'll sign that one on the back. So that's what we would need a motion on now is budget ordinance 2023-20.
So just modify it to that, is that right?
No, it's a separate vote.
Then how-
You all approved of the overall budget number. Now you're approving the budget ordinance.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve, to approve the, budget ordinance 23-20, is that what he said?
Yeah, 2023-20. Yep.
I'll also make a motion to go ahead and approve the salary ordinance 23-21.
Second.
Rex on the second.
We'll probably separate those two out, but I can do that in a minute. So Fred and Rex, motion second. Let's do the budget ordinance first, and then if you want, we can keep the same two people on the other one, but if we can do the budget ordinance 2023-20, Fred and Rex have the motion, now we just need a vote on that.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Okay. And then we need a salary ordinance 2023-21.
Aye.
Fred?
Aye.
Tony, that's the salary order signature page, please.
Oh, this is the salary ordinance.
That's just the signature.
Just a signature.
That you want to sign the bottom part of that, Dennis, and then I'll pass that around. Where's your, what's your name on this one? If you want to sign these two, I'll start passing those over.
Here.
This is the salary ordinance here. This is the resolution to do the wage. The first thing they discussed, this is the salary ordinance. Later, you will have a budget ordinance that you all will sign. She's got to get that in the gateway and everything first. Why did I do it late? Oh. Okay, there's one. That's the salary ordinance. And right there.
Have a motion and a second to approve.
I think we already did that. Did we already do that? We did. Okay, this. This is the resolution 2023-26 as amended the way that you guys restructured it. Bree, do you need anything else with the budget to do what you need to do?
No.
Let me know if I actually have to get in and put my signature on it.
You will probably have to just hit one button for me to be able to print it for
Yeah,
you to sign, but right
that's
now,
fine.
it's just.
Naturally. If you need to run upstairs, if you have more, would it be the same up
All
there?
together, so I just.
It's just a budget time for everybody. Needs to write everybody's on page.
Just yell at me when you're ready but for, excuse me,
As long as the 3 ordinances are passed with it.
and those were all passed, so I think,
Once,
or-
we can send you guys copies of like the salary ordinance signed, everything signed.
Yeah. but we don't need anything else, to my knowledge, passed for you to submit that now.
I'm sorry. If you want a copy of anything I want sent to me, knowing it's the final budget, I would save that stuff.
And then there'll be a page that you all sign like you have in previous years for that final budget ordinance 2023-20. But we have to submit it first and get it printed out after we submit it and do all that stuff. So we're working on doing it by the end of the meeting. It depends on, if it stops spinning and actually
Loads.
loads, and let's hope for that. But now we would need a motion to exit the budget hearing and enter back into the regular meeting.
Motion to exit the budget hearing and enter back into the regular council meeting.
Second.
Fred and Rex?
You're good.
Okay. Julie Marie, do you want me to do my thing before you do your thing?
Yes. Waiting for the resolution.
Okay.
Needs to be printed. I just emailed the resolution to the bonuses.
Yeah, I already got it.
Oh, you.
Brad went and got it.
Oh, thank you.
So they're signing it now.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, Beef, I am going to have some transfers and things like that. But first thing I need to do, the commissioners have already approved these. And EMA could not be here today. So they asked if I could present 4 grants. And let me see what they're for. One is for $5,000, and that is for hazardous materials emergency preparedness. One is $1,000, and that's also for hazardous materials emergency preparedness. I could actually get into the commissioner's minutes and tell you what those specifically are if you have further questions on it. They were for various things. I don't know well, Steve's the only one over there now. Hold on. I'm going to call up my commissioner minutes in case you have questions on specifically what some of these grants are.
It's already been signed. I think they just.
Okay. The $5,000 grant is for an awareness class for hybrid electric vehicles and the possibility of their hazardous chemicals. There's a $1,000 grant for hazmat operations training. There's a grant for $5,661.41 for a device to test the air quality if a chemical escapes into the air, similar to what happened at Bungie here a while back. It would be training for if something like that were to happen again. And there's a $14,943 grant for 5 multi-gas detectors to put in each fire department in Adams County. This will include the materials to calibrate and keep the machines maintained. So those are the 4 grants that I am seeking a motion and a second and approval of.
Motion to accept all the grants and transfers.
You're the only one that needs a second. So we have a motion by Fred.
I'll second.
Kathy?
Second. All those in favor of the grant approval? Opposed?
Okay, you're the only one that needs to sign, Dennis. We'll just say that it was approved by council. Once you sign those, I'll have to sign and then we'll be good. I got 2 copies, one for EMA and one for us to keep. Okay. And then before Julie Marie starts on her resolution train, we have the additional appropriations that we have that you all received are truly appropriating monies from the LIT economic development. And those amounts for ACEDC economic development is $10,330. For the hospital is $433,372. That would be for the additional appropriation. Hold on. That's the seat of money, right, Rick? Seat of money being appropriated,
It's just getting the lines out of the road.
yeah.
What does that mean exactly? Get the lines out of the road?
It's just we didn't budget enough. The budget didn't match the ordinance.
So it's 33 and change, is that what you said?
Hold
I mean, being
Or
spent.
10?
10,330 for non-violent, 433, 372 for hospital.
Make a motion to approve the additional appropriation.
Second.
Fred and Rex
What are we approving? Additional appropriation.
for the additional. Just need a vote.
Moved and seconded to approve the additional appropriations for hospital and seated.
For Wellness for Cedar for economic development in the hospital.
Yeah. All those in favor? Opposed?
Okay. We have, let me get these. Okay. I'm going to sign that first and then I'll pass it around at the bottom. Then we have transfer by resolution. Did you all receive those?
Yeah, I include that in my motion now for the,
Or you're doing the transfers off?
yeah, I'll do a motion to accept all the transfers.
Fred and
Second.
Bob? Vote on the transfers, Dennis.
Moved and seconded to approve the transfers. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, and the last thing that I have here is 2023 amended salary ordinance. Did you have any questions on what you had received on those? I'm thinking,
Is that the 2023-21?
no, it's 2023 amended salary ordinance. It has all,
No.
it has like, most of these are like replacements, rehires, whatever. In the case of the assessor, they passed a level. The school liaison was a hire for the new Health First Indiana thing. That's part of that.
Which we already approved, we just.
It's already been approved. This is, yes, it's already been approved. This is just the person they got. So all of these are in that.
Just the three?
Hmm.
The three?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Or I don't know.
Three what?
There's three statement of salary and wages proposed to be paid officers, employees, calendar year 2023. Is that what we're voting on?
No, you're voting on the amended salary ordinance for these people that just,
No.
that's what you're voting
Yeah,
on.
he's
I
saying
didn't see
there's
that.
three.
There's three
Oh.
of them.
There, oh,
Yeah.
were there some added to this? I think
Yeah,
that's gonna,
it was,
oh, they added some, I guess they added some after this went out. I apologize. Because this is the only one that I have.
Okay. I'll make a motion on
Did you guys want to see these extra
the
ones?
amended.
Oh,
Yeah,
they got the new one, okay. Well, you'll see it when you hear it, I guess.
There's it later.
Did we get a, who made the motion?
I'll second it, nobody else has.
John made it.
John and Rex? I was confused on that because I'm looking at one that has 5, or 6, or whatever, 5, whatever it is. I forgot that some were added.
6, I'm sorry.
Okay, so John and,
This is the amended salary ordinance.
yes.
Have
And
a
we got a
motion-
motion second already.
Have a motion and a second to approve the amended salary ordinances as presented. All those in favor? Opposed?
There's that one. I was confused. Looking at this and it's. Here's the other one.
Is that it, Tony?
That is the last one. That is all that I have now. I'm ready to hand it over to Julie Marie with various, in a sundry, ARPA things.
Good morning. First of all, I'd like to have you review the ARPA request from the commissioners. That is the request that was made for $6,000 for a site investigation report for the Peacekeepers Way Road extension. You all have not voted on that, so I sent that request form with the information. So at this time, I would ask you to consider that and vote. If you vote to approve that, I do have a resolution for your signature. That would be Resolution 27.
Would that still then go back to the commissioners?
No, they presented it to us.
They present, so it's, okay.
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure that
No,
we're good. Okay,
Came from them.
So
cool.
what were the findings of that? I can ask. Or
What I've asked MLS to look at is to take that whole site out there, the 120 acres or whatever it is that we have there, and give us an assessment of how that site can be best utilized, what's easily developable, what's not so easily developable, what's wasteland, how we would need to build infrastructure in there, just kind of give us a kind of a 30,000 foot perspective of what our opportunity is with that ground. And that's just what I've asked Brett to look at.
And part of it would be connecting
I
Winchester.
assume part of it would be what it would take for us to get a road connecting to, what is that?
High Street.
High Street.
Yeah.
But it's really a look at that whole site there to tell us what the highest and best use is for each one of the different parcels that could be parceled off of that.
So
Some of it's in floodplain, some of it's not, what can be developed, what can't, what would have to have roads, bridges, so on and so forth.
yeah, so I was gonna, so they would assess floodplains and
They would.
and all that. And also, are we aware of any, oh shoot. That's swampland basically, but wetlands.
Yeah, I don't know, but that, obviously that'll come back to us then as part of that report. I know we own it, I just don't have a real good, I don't have a real good understanding of what's usable and what's not, or what the potential is for it. So it's just kind of a, tell us what we own, what would it be good for.
And so they would give us some type of overview plat drawing type of
I
thing.
think so. They would give us, here's 20 acres that's easily developable. Here's 40 acres that would be developable if you added a bridge, and here's our estimate of what the bridge would cost, so on and so forth, where the accesses would be. I'm not exactly sure how much detail. $6,000 isn't a lot of engineering money, but it would at least give us a start.
I think it's an excellent idea. We've been talking about this for probably 2 or 3 years ago. We started having some preliminary discussion on it, so I'd certainly be receptive to this.
That's up by the jail, Steve.
Yeah.
That's what if they were, it's resolution 2023-27.
Yes.
Sure they go.
Motion to approve it.
So you would see a motion.
We'll need a motion to approve the ARPA fund request by commissioners.
It would be resolution 2023-27, if anyone is inclined to make a motion and a second on that.
Well, I have one last question. So this is their estimate on that and it's a not to exceed number?
Yes, not to exceed. And actually, that estimate was about 3 or 4 months old, or 5 months old maybe by now. But I checked with Brett, and he would hold that firm for us.
I'll make
Yeah,
the
he
motion.
actually did some preliminary work. for
He
us.
did. He's done a little
Yeah,
bit of work. So
I got the maps
some
and
initial
everything.
thoughts on it already.
Still got the maps and everything on it, so this is,
This would be a more formalized.
Yeah,
presentation,
right.
What is already done, kind of informally.
right.
Kathy and
I made the motion.
Second.
Rex?
All those in favor of the request for our
Aye.
Aye.
opposed? Passes.
Can we see that report when it's done?
Absolutely.
Do you have additions?
Yes, a couple of additionals. This is just housekeeping matters. We have several ARPA resolutions that just formalize the votes that had been previously taken. This would be proposed resolution 2023-28. This would ratify your approval of the cost for construction of a pickleball court for South Adams Community Schools using ARPA funds.
Which one?
2028, that's the pickleball court for South Adams.
Is that the? I don't think commissioners approved that.
Do you recall?
Commissioners, you didn't approve that, did you?
Oh, you did not approve that. I'm
They did
sorry.
not.
I thought that that
No,
one
they
was
did not
approved.
approve that.
It's like, I know I
Okay,
have
you
super
did
Lieutenant call
approve
me
the
on that.
public library, correct?
Very happy.
Yes. Okay, so this one then is proposed 2028 for the public library. This would be for a van for their outreach program for $50,000. This would be proposed resolution 2023-28. Is that correct?
That one was approved by votes.
And
yes.
that one was approved by both.
Yeah. So we just need a motion and second on that one too.
Second.
We voted to approve it last month. Now we have to vote on the
There's a
resolution.
resolution.
There's a
on that.
resolution that you have to adopt. The SBOA requires that for housekeeping matters.
So Dennis, they have a motion and a second on this one. On the resolution 2023-28, we just need to vote.
Need a motion to approve resolution 2023-28.
We already got that, we just need a vote.
We need a vote now.
I'll vote then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I approved and Rex second.
Okay, go ahead and vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right, got that one.
The next one is proposed resolution 2023. That would be ratification of your prior vote to pay the cost to purchase vehicles for use by the Adams County Surveyor's Office in the amount of $160,000.
And that one also has been approved as just a resolution that we need to do.
Motion to approve. Second.
Okay, John.
Yep.
All those in favor of the resolution?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay,
And the crisis center, that was approved.
Crisis Center was approved.
Okay. Proposed resolution 2023-30. That would be the resolution for the cost for the Adams Wells Crisis Center to make repairs and improvements to their facility and purchase a vehicle. The total of that is $127,870.
Motion to approve.
Second. Did you vote for that last time? Did you vote for that last time? You voted against it.
Even if you didn't vote for it last time, this is different. That would have been registered at the time. This is a new vote, just on the resolution. So Fred and John, we just need to vote on the.
Fred and Bob.
Fred and Bob. Okay.
What was it?
Need to vote on that.
This one.
Crisis. I already got one on that one.
Okay.
Hold on. This is the surveyor, 29 is the surveyor. 30
30 is crisis center.
Don't I have in the hand? Yes.
Last one is proposed resolution 2023-31. This is not an ARPA resolution. This is actually a resolution requested by the surveyor's office. They are requesting redirection of interest earned on deposits within drainage funds 2700 and 1158 for use by their office. previously and currently, the interest in those accounts goes back into the general fund. They're here in requesting that go back to them. This is not without precedent. We've done this a few times with other funds. So he is requesting the opportunity for maintaining his own interest in those funds. That would be proposed resolution 2023-31, if that is.
So that's, it used to be appropriated back to them, and we took it out for some reason years ago, and now it's going back in.
Correct. It used to go into the general and then back to, now it's, he's asking that it just go directly back into his account for operation of the department.
I think that's the mayor, this last.
Yeah.
You guys already approved this.
Yeah.
We just need to approve this
Right,
resolution.
he came before you and discussed this,
Second.
and
I missed John, you were second, Fred was.
Fred, John.
All those in favor of the resolution?
Aye.
Opposed?
thank you. I have nothing further.
Okay, point of the
I
matter.
think we made votes on all that stuff.
Yes.
And additional appropriations already.
Yeah, we've done all my stuff. I mean, we're good to go. We just need to make sure, well, we're waiting on her computer to load so we can get the final budget signed. Huh?
You have to do fund by fund, so every fund you have to.
Oh, God. Okay.
I don't know.
Well, we have to do,
With the what?
this has to be done today so we can get it. Oh,
Because they approved 2020.
do they have to sign it before it goes in?
Yeah, so they just can't leave until they sign.
That's
But
what,
they approved it.
right,
They did 2023-20.
yes,
So they
yes,
did the motion, they just have to sign.
yes, we're just waiting for the signature page.
So
And one last thing while you're doing all of that, I made a mistake on the calculation. I put in the $500,000 to the clerk's office. That has actually not been approved just yet. So neither has the pickleball court. So right now we are standing at $980,000 still either outstanding ARPA requests or something that is being contemplated. And we have 1,010,077 that is unallocated right now. So we're approximately dead even if everything that is pending is approved.
I do have a question. This is not any way, shape, or form, like being critical of what you guys, the commissioners voted on it, but I'm curious. I have to admit, I made an assumption, I think, that we were trying to get our records digitized. I mean, because honestly, either way, my understanding is most of the counties in Indiana have done that. Are we not, is that not our goal? I'm just curious, I don't know.
If you're referring to the clerk's request for $500,000 to digitize it.
Yeah, because I think the recorder has digitized all theirs. And so, again, I'm curious what the goal actually is, to have all of our records digitized, or we don't care.
Well, I don't know that it's that clear. Either we're going to have them all or we don't care. But I was maybe the most vocal against that proposal. So maybe I'll just explain if you're okay, I'll just explain what I was thinking. What I've gone back to our clerk and asked is if we could think about the records that are most frequently accessed and digitize those first. In talking with with our IT director, a lot of the expense associated with that project related to digitizing the old books and the records that are not kind of in a standard format. They would be scanned and then they would have to go back and be basically indexed manually. A lot of those are handwritten, so they would have to be, they would have to be interpreted. The actual indexing field would have to be interpreted because of the handwriting that probably wouldn't be readable, machine readable. So I don't, and again, I just speak for myself. I know Steve didn't vote on that at all, and Steve and Stan didn't vote, but we didn't actually deny the request. We didn't take any action on the request, but my recommendation was to deny it because I didn't feel like we had a good plan. It wasn't that we didn't need to digitize those records. The other thing that I feel is important is that we do a better job of storing those records and we move those records back into a facility that we own and that we control. So I've been talking with Rick about a place here in this building that we could actually build out into a well thought through, well lit, fire protected records vault that would be more easily accessible by everybody here in the building. And then I've actually talked to Mike Brown about, is there a process that would be more universally used by everybody, all the departments in the county, for record archiving, as opposed to a specific piece of software and a specific vendor just for the clerk's office?
Right.
So those are the questions that I asked kind of after the presentation was made. Absolutely, I feel like we need to digitize, especially the records that are readily and more frequently accessed so that we can get to those more quickly. I just didn't feel like maybe we had a real, I wasn't convinced that that was the right way to go about it, and that was the reason for my vote.
I asked the same questions about being on like software things, and I sat in on a presentation and saw, and I do feel like it's necessary, but again, I just wanted to know what the goal was. And I do agree, I think we need to get all the records here and not, it sounds like they're spread all over the county.
Yeah.
And some places aren't great locations.
I
to be.
fully believe we can do that. I think Rick's actually identifying some locations, and you know, part of the problem was we had a leaky roof that kind of took out some of our readily accessible space. That roof has been replaced now, so that's kind of under control. It may result in moving some people around to get to the the highest and best
That
use
space,
of the record storage space. But I really believe that sometime in the near future, hopefully next year, we can have a high-quality record storage area here in this building.
I will, for everybody, I've sat in on a little bit of this and I'm familiar with some of it, visiting the clerk's office and asking some questions. I believe it's the trifolds, if I'm correct. The trifolds have been deemed by the state as historical, and so we cannot destroy those. But everything else, once it gets digitized, we can destroy. So that's, it seems like that would be a good thing if we could figure that out. But I was just curious, wanted to know what the goal was and what the plan, you know, so.
Trifles were the most expensive to scan.
Yeah, because they're bad and all that stuff. But, you know, honestly, it seems like it makes sense to scan everything else first that can be destroyed and the trifolds last, maybe. So, versus letting things hang out there, I wanted to ask and kind of hear what the whole thought was and that type of thing. So, thank you.
I'm hoping that she just went up to get that. That's
Dan?
I'll fill about 2 minutes of your time. Requesting permission for new deputies' pay. If he's accepted the merit board, he's already ILA certified, and I'd like to start him at that first year pay and not the probationary pay. We've done that for the last 3 deputies, but I have to get your permission to do that, and I'm requesting that permission if he's accepted through the merit board process.
That's just a replacement that you're talking about, right?
Yes.
How much experience do you have?
Just over a year. but he has the academy and he's from our area. So the training, he's already familiar with computers and all that stuff. So it's probably a 2 to 3 week FTO period. And then he's hitting the ground on his own.
Shannon,
Do we need a motion for that?
Yes.
Yeah.
was that already in the solid waste? They approved what he's asking? Did Commissioners approve what he's asking already?
But they haven't hired anybody, so.
Yeah, I'm just getting it because it's.
For this specific officer?
Correct.
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
I'll second. For you to hire it?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to see how I need to put that in the minutes.
Correct. John made, Bob second.
John and Bob?
Yeah, just forego the probationary period.
Correct.
Straight for 1 year.
Yeah, he's still on probation for a year.
No, the
But
probation
just the pay, yes, correct.
At the first year pay.
Yes.
You also have to do 141.
Yep,
Got it.
no one's hired yet, just.
So now Commissioners and Council have both approved it.
Correct.
So you can make.
If it happens, it happens.
Okay, got it.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay, here it is. So I
Have a
don't
motion to
know.
approve the pay.
We have that.
Oh,
This is kind of.
I said we have them. All those in favor? Opposed?
Okay, we're going to pass this around. The tax rate, we had to wait for that to be submitted. The adopted tax rate is 0.8061. However, when we get this back before the end of the year from DLGF, that will be lower because they do their workshop and base it on 85% of assessed value. So that will be lower when it comes back. And this is what you have already voted on. We just need the signatures now. And if you want to look at the numbers as it goes around, that'll be on there as well. I'll start with Dennis. This is the extra.
Have another one of these to go around.
Oh. I'm gonna pass that around. Is that yours, the key to that actually? And then whether you, well, you put it I, so you check it out. So, see, there we go. Okay, and then just check, when you sign, just check A, nay, aye, nay, however you say it. Tomato, tomato.
Is there a vote taken on that, Tony?
Yes.
So they took away, unanimous, they all.
The budget ordinance, itself, everybody was an aye except for four.
This is part of the second one.
Yes,
Okay, so it's automatic.
but the overall budget number total that they voted on first before this,
Okay,
he was an aye,
okay.
or something like that.
Yeah, everyone's unanimous on the budget. The taxes is, we'll keep living on that issue.
Just to see what that would be down to, get back.
Everybody has to sign that before they leave.
And while they're signing that, I can bring up some that I will know for next year. When Darren Bates was here discussing LIP with us, we started that process in July because he had said it's good to start early in case there's something messed up, because there's a 30-day waiting period before you can bring it up and this, that, and the other thing, which is a good thing because the one that we did in July, the state had changed some things. We did have to redo it in August. And my understanding had been that it would begin January 1 of 24. However, I found out, actually because of my wife, because she got, for the restaurant, we do it in QuickBooks, and our accountant sent us, here's how to make this change that was effective October 1st. And I'm like, what? Because we approved that in the August meeting prior to September 1, people in the county started saving on their income tax as of October 1st. Not January, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It just means there'll be a little more in there at the beginning of the year, and county residents can know that the council effectively there's less coming out of their county withholding now on their pay. Did I say that? I think I said it. So they are trying to save county residents as much as possible. And that's because they had dropped that from 1.624 to 1.60. And that actually started October 1st. It's not starting January 1st. It started October 1st. Which, like I said, there's nothing wrong with that. I just wanted to let you know because I was under the understanding it was going to be January 1st. But it started October 1st. So that'll help build that up a little bit for the public safety lid and the PSAP. That'll start building up a little more quickly than what we thought. It'll still take a while to build it up, but with those changes, and I'm guessing that sometime in spring, we'll probably have Darren back again. I think we should every year because he's getting paid to do that. And he'll come back and tell us any other changes that were made at the state that will affect what we have to do with lid. Of course, the commissioners have a part in that because they have their ordinance, and then both bodies have a part in all of that. So I just wanted to bring that up. It's actually a good thing. So.
And for you guys in the paper, just maybe as a reminder what that is, that's the income tax rate going down, but within the rate, we reallocated. So there's a little bit more going to the public safety for all the municipalities. So the overall rate is down, but a little bit more is going into the law enforcement, public safety.
For Adams.
I emailed it to them and told them that they need to talk about it.
Okay.
CC the council.
Oh, you already did? You already told them
Yeah,
this?
I said,
So we'll see what they say.
Right.
Okay.
Anything else?
I'll just pick up. Everybody get that signed? Yep. Okay. Let me just enter it.
Other matters to be brought before us this morning?
Somebody else? Shannon has anything?
I was make a general statement about the budget on the whole. I'll go a little bit like Corey said as far as, well, first I'd like to express thanks to honestly all past councils and commissioners. I mean, Adams County's been around for a long time and have kept us very viable through this whole time. So, I mean, really done a great job. Going forward, I think one of our goals is, needs to be, the world seems to move at a much faster pace these days. As an example, I've studied the stock market before a little bit, and the crash of 29, I think it took, I'm trying to remember for sure, but it took 20 or 25 years for that to recover. Now, we've seen some crashes that take, a year or two. I mean, it's the age of information and the speed at which things move are much, much quicker these days. So, we're trying to make decisions based on historical data. And, just like we had the debate over health insurance today, I think if we all agreed on everything all the time, that would not be good. So that ends up in a debate about some things, and I think that is good. And we talked about those things, and we saw two different ends today. We ended up in the middle. So that's definitely a good thing. So, I won't necessarily speak for everybody, but I think to a degree we're definitely trying to use historical data while we don't have a crystal. If we had a crystal ball, it would be easy, right? But we don't. So we're trying to make these decisions based on historical data while also trying to project the future. And I think our goals here are maybe, if we can do something that's maybe to step up our game, I think we're trying to plan a little better. So get our planning going forward to the point where, you know, we can predict a little more what might be coming down the pike for us. So, yeah, I think, I feel like we've kind of changed the whole budgeting process in the last couple of years. You know, and again, this is not a slight against any previous councils. That's kind of where we were and what we did, but versus reading the budget line by line, we're trying to make higher level decisions and empower the department heads a little bit more to actually manage their budget. But and then we're trying to see what that looks like and make sound overall decisions that helps, you know, everybody with their jobs, but mostly be good. You know, we're trying to do what's right for Adams County and its residents. And so, yeah, again, I'll say same thing, Corey. Great job to everybody, and thanks for your hard work.
Anybody else? Well, I think we've added a page to Robert's rules today. So with no further discussion, call for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Fred and Bob.
Kathy.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Good with a couple figures.